x negative 1/2?
Let's take a look at that. So let's see what that does. Okay, so f of x is this, g of x is this, so f prime of x would be 2x, yeah? And g prime of x would equal to 1/2 of 2 is 1, right? But then take it away, it'd be 1 over the square root of x, or 1 over x to the 1/2, right? Or x to the negative 1/2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it'd be one of these two that you want to use. However you want to use it. And so I kind of like to throw it back into the square root when we're multiplying. For some reason it seemed to work pretty well when we did it in the past. So when I look at my prime, the thing I think about is the steps. Right here we've got f prime, so that means I've got 2x. Then I've got g. G is the bottom. That means that we've got 2 square root x plus 1. And then that's minus f. Now again, f is x squared. And then times g prime, which is when we come down to a g prime, that's when we get, it's a little bit funky, but 1 over the square root of x. Okay? And so once we kind of put these things together, we'll see what's going on. And so when I start throwing this together, now I've got 2 times 2 is 4, right? And then x square root x. And then I've got plus 2x, right? Then I've got these guys together, so it's going to be minus x squared over the square root of x. Okay? So no matter what, it's a fraction, right? And that's what f prime of x is going to be equal to. But this fraction, I have to do something to this to make sure I have this. And what I have to do is do this. But to do that, I have to do it to the top, right? So that means I have to multiply the top by the square root of x. What's that?
What about the rest of the equation?
This one? Oh. Yeah, my bad. And so all of this is still divided by the g squared. Thank you. Almost messed that all up. The 2 square root x plus 1 squared. Right? And so I want to deal with that top a little bit before I deal with the bottom. And so I want to make sure that this fraction is dealt with. And so that's why I multiply by the square root of x. So everybody gets multiplied by the square root of x. Now, square root of x times the square root of x is just x. So that's x times 4. So that's 4x squared. You see how I got that? Right? Square root of x is x. X times x is x squared. So that's 4 times x squared. And then you have plus 2x square root x. Okay? Minus x squared all over the square root of x. See how that 1 becomes both of them. Okay? All over 2 square root x plus 1 squared. Now, that's where the tricky part comes, yeah? Because in essence, when you're saying that this is divided by, you're kind of saying divided by 1 over 2 square root x plus 1 squared, right? But then when you're saying this, see what I'm saying? Now we would flip it and multiply, yeah? So I would have 4x squared. Well, let's just combine these like terms. 3x squared, right? Plus 2x square root x all over the square root of x times 2 square root x plus 1 squared. Now instead of writing it like that, what we might want to do is actually square it. Because that's just going to be over 1, right? So what I could do is square this top before I write it. So how would I square that? Well, what's this squared? 2 squared is 4, yeah? X square root of x squared would be x, yeah? And then 1 is 1, yeah? And then 2 times 1 would be 2 plus, or 2 times 1 is 2 times 2 is 4. So plus 4 square root x. And that would be a plus 1. So now we've got 2 trinomials. Oh no, a binomial and a trinomial. Sorry about that. So now I'm going to take this and multiply it through. So everybody on the block gets the paper. So we've got 3x or 12x cubed plus 12x squared square root x plus 3x squared. You know I love you if I'm working this hard on a problem. And then, now I've got to take this guy, boom. And maybe I should change color at that point. Because then we'll want to collect like terms anyways. So, take this guy and multiply it. And so what I got there is 8x squared square root x, right? Plus 8x square root x plus 2x square root x. Wait a minute, hold on, that's not right. 8x squared. Sorry about that. Because this square root makes a x, and then the x times the x is an x squared. I knew that couldn't have happened. So there we go. All over square root of x. All right. Well, let's bring this bad boy over here and try to end this problem. F prime of x is equal to. All right. So what I like to do in this case is kind of look for things that are in common. So do I have another cube? No. Okay, so cube is alone. So I got 12x cubed. And then plus 12x squared square root x. Is there any x squared square root x? Any of these x squared square root x? So I see an x squared square root x right here. Yeah? So I'll collect those, and that would be 20. So plus 20 x squared square root x. Yeah? Then we've got the x squares. So we got 3 and 8, so that would make 11 plus 11x squared. Yeah. And then plus 2x square root x. And I mean, we could divide that square root of x through, and it would get rid of these guys, but then it would put 2 underneath these guys. So it's just kind of how you want to write the problem. That's a solid answer to me. Another way you could write it is 12x cubed over x, square root of x plus 20x squared plus 11x squared divided by the square root of x plus 2x. I mean, either way, they're the same. Does that make sense? Okay. How did I do there, Cash? Same thing? Serious?
Hmm?
You got the same?
I didn't. I can't do it faster than you. I didn't even do it. I was just copying you.
Oh, man. Alright. Well, I love you anyways, man.